The entire NFL is smelling what Sean Payton is cooking, and everybody wants what the Denver Broncos have, as we have more evidence come out that Denver Broncos free agents have been sought after by multiple other teams, turned down bigger offers to come and join your Denver Broncos, and that should be a wildly optimistic sign for us in the future. We get a crazy trade speculation involving Courtland Sutton. I need to know, how hard are you hitting the no button on that trade request as it comes through if you're Sean Payton, and way more in this video if you're new to the channel. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Truly helps me and that algorithm out a lot if you would smash that like and subscribe button. Let's dive in here. So we took every single weakness on this defense and added all Pro Bowl players to it, players who've been in the Super Bowl and made deep playoff runs. And it was wild and it was beyond any of our expectations. We never thought we'd get Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw and Evan Engram. We were like, man, if we could get one of those dudes, we're running around the neighborhood shirtless. But to get all three of them, it's like, why even wear a shirt to work tomorrow, right? So what we're hearing now is that the New York Jets were also one of the many teams who tried to throw the absolute bag and actually more money than the Broncos did to get Talanoa Hufanga to their team. And this is just incredible to me now that we see here that Darren Mugi obviously being associated with the Denver Broncos, wanting to kind of build what we have here, knowing that he worked very closely with George Payton. Of course, if Payton fell in love with Hufanga and they're in the same room as they're doing those studies and looking out at free agency, it should come as no surprise to me that they also wanted him. It's just amazing to me now to see that he picked us over a bigger money deal with the New York Jets in that huge mega market of New York. So now you're looking at Hufanga not only being rumored to us and that the front office staff of the Jets wanted him, but also the front office staff of the Giants wanted him, which is pretty cool. And also at the last second, you see that the Bengals also put in an offer. So he is picking your Denver Broncos over the Giants, the Jets, and the Bengals, and that is fantastic. In addition to that, we know that Dre Greenlaw, who came to the Broncos as well, and if he's healthy, is the most talented inside linebacker in the entire NFL. And that's not even a bold take to say. And we just trust Bo Landry will keep him healthy. But the Colts, the Lions, and the 49ers all wanted him. So you're seeing him pick us over all three of those teams. Evan Engram, we know he went and visited the Chargers. The Chargers were a higher seed than us last year. They got Harbaugh. Everyone's talking about Harbaugh and his khaki pants. He picks your Denver Broncos over that. So we should be wildly optimistic about the future and what we have cooking here, because it is indeed something extremely, extremely special. And I think it's just going to continue to get more and more special. So what we're seeing here is Coach Brandon Jordan, who I guess is like a pass rush coach extraordinaire, and in his free time, players can pay him. So he's worked out Von Miller and trained him, Nick Bonito and Zach Allen. He's both trained a ton, and he released this crazy hype reel just of like what Nick Bonito did this year, and just said like, hey, 14 and a half sacks. At some points, he outplayed Nick Bosa. He outplayed Myles Garrett, in my opinion, when it comes to production, at least. And what he came out and said, he was like, hey, you haven't even seen anything yet. And then on top of that, what we see here is that Nick Bonito quote tweeted that and said, fam, fingers crossed, only the beginning. So to me, this is showing that the Broncos are making another brilliant move here, like we did with Patrick Surtain last offseason around this time, that hopefully right around training camp, we're making a sweet video saying the Denver Broncos just made a brilliant move and we locked Nick Bonito in, because if we were able to do that, that would be fantastic, because the bar is just going to continue to go up when it comes to pass rushers. So if the Broncos are able to get him right now, it's going to age just as well as that Pat Surtain re-signing did, where now Pat Surtain, we got him locked down for 4 years, and he's already the fourth highest paid corner in football, even though we just did the deal like barely an offseason ago. And I think that's just the brilliance of Sean Payton and George Payton. They have built a culture that a lot of people want to be a part of, and that's fantastic. Showing that more teams want to be a part of what we are cooking here. See an interesting article out here saying that the Denver Broncos would trade up in the draft and trade Courtland Sutton to move from the 20th overall pick to the 12th overall pick. So they would give Courtland Sutton up to the Dallas Cowboys. They would, the Dallas Cowboys would take Courtland Sutton and pair him with CeeDee Lamb and hopefully a healthy Dak Prescott. And they seem extremely excited about this. If you read the comments on here, it looks like the Cowboys would all just run to the stadium and start like tailgating already. They would be so hyped. But what do you think? Like, How would you feel? We know Courtland Sutton needs a new deal moving into next year. He is 30 years old, which is about the time where wide receivers start to fall off a cliff. How would you feel about Courtland Sutton being traded to move from the 20th overall pick to the 12th overall pick? So moving up 8 slots, giving up Courtland Sutton at the end of his deal here. How does that feel to you? I think the big takeaways for me is like, it's awesome that other teams want what we have. That's fantastic. Like, it was not that long ago that we were the ones making those audacious claims like, ooh, we need this player to be competent. We need this player, and maybe we'll make the playoffs again. So it's awesome now that we're the team everyone wants to poach for. I love Courtland Sutton way too much. Seeing him courtside with Bo Nix at the Nuggets game the other night, they've got an incredible chemistry, and moving 8 slots up, like, I feel great about our tight end position. I trust that Sean Payton is going to have 3 options for who he picks at the 20th overall selection, and one of those 3 dudes is going to fall there. We've got to root like crazy that Shedeur, Jackson Dart, and Cam Ward all go in the top 20. We got to cheer like crazy that an offensive lineman goes in the top 20. And when that all plays out, we will at least have a fantastic tight end or a fantastic running back or a wide receiver fall to us there. I love Courtland Sutton too much. I would not be okay trading him just to move from 20 to all the way up to 8 to 12. But I could be way wrong. Like, maybe if that's for Tyler Warren, and it helps us salary cap space, and Sean Payton totally trusts in what Devon Bailey has going forward, maybe that's a good move, but I'm curious what all y'all think, because the comment section in here is pretty undefeated, except for some of the haters. But overall, y'all are the absolute best. Interesting article here on Broncos Wire that went through the best free agents that remained. We're kind of at that doldrum here. The NFL draft is almost exactly a month from right now. We'll be live streaming here as the draft is happening in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we're kind of in this doldrums where the Broncos didn't do anything during this week last year at this time. It wasn't until after the NFL League meeting, which is next week, so the 30th. It was after that we went and did a slew of other moves. That's when we added Josh Reynolds. So I could see the longer that these guys are out there as free agents, the cheaper the Broncos are going to be able to get them. We've covered almost all of these guys, but there were a couple dark horses on here that I wanted to just cover and give my thoughts on. So obviously we talked about J.K. Dobbins. I think that would be my number one pick. Like, if we did one more free agent signing, I think I would go J.K. Dobbins, then I would go Amari Cooper, then I would go Keenan Allen. And then there's a couple wide receivers here that we hadn't talked about much in Elijah Moore and Tyler Lockett. And I want to just take a quick sec and be like, whoa, why haven't we talked about these dudes? So first one is Elijah Moore. Now, knowing just like the dysfunction, he's played for the Jets and for the Giants, and for the Cleveland Browns. He's only 24 years old, which is a great sign. Unlike Lockett, who's like 33 years old and hasn't had a great year in a while, Elijah Moore is in that good year where he's only played in the NFL. This will be his 5th year, and he by far and away will be walking into his best quarterback he's ever played for, playing for the Browns without Watson, and then playing for the Giants when they were in that quarterback roulette era. And even still, he had some like kind of sick plays, like even playing for some pretty bad quarterback play. Like, you saw some run after the catch ability. You saw him in space, and I like the age there. And knowing like he's not going to be one of the top tier dudes. Like, we're not talking. I think you would get him for cheaper than you'd get a Keenan Allen. I think this is very similar to a Josh Reynolds type move that the Broncos could make here right after the league meetings start up. And you just see like his yard after catch ability and run after catch ability. I remember seeing this. I think this was actually a cut from Hard Knocks, where just absolute freak with the ball. Obviously not Deebo Samuel, but I see some similarities there to him and Amari Cooper. The other name on there is Tyler Lockett, who had a couple of tremendous years where like you're looking at 100 catch seasons when he was with the Seahawks for a couple of years, 100, but it looks like these past couple of years, his production has just fallen off a cliff, which is why he probably was just cut and let go. But man, he certainly had some years there with Russell Wilson where he was taking the league by absolute storm, wild one-handed catches here in traffic. That we haven't seen. It's very Courtland Sutton-esque, I guess, to see that kind of thing, but he's 3 years older than Courtland Sutton. And so I think if the Seattle Seahawks moved on from him, there's probably good reason for that, but it's amazing because everybody wants what the Denver Broncos have. We are young and hungry, and next year is going to be even better than this year was. And that's something we can all believe in. Oh, come on, dude. I haven't made it in like a week. I'm losing my confidence.